Hello, I'm Gimbal Lock. We're going to draw a really good nature scene. And we're going to start out with a tree. Now there's a couple different ways of doing trees. One way is to come in with a brown and make a big letter Y. Just kind of scribble it in. Now at the end here, let's split that again. And at the end, let's split those again. That looks pretty good. That's a pretty good tree. And now we're going to put some leaves on it. Now, to make leaves, a couple ways to do it, but I generally want to go leafy, 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 leafy like this. And then do it again. This is one way of doing leaves. Leafy, 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 leafy. And now the inside, we need leaves there too, so we're going to go leafy, 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 leafy on the inside as well. There we go, there's a nice tree. Now there's still some white spots in here, so I'm going to go over this whole thing with some green. And then I'm going to go over it with some yellow, because we're going to put the sun over here and the light's going to shine and light this up, and it's going to change the green a little bit. We have to push down kind of hard with the yellow. But I'm only going to do it on this one side. You see, it gets a lighter shade of green. And then over here, I'm going to put a little bit of blue. Not a lot. I don't want really a blue-green, but I do want to get a little bit darker on this side. I could also come in with a brown. And a brown will make this more of a darker color, and it'll make it a different kind of green. I can also come in with a black. No, not a lot of black. We don't really want black. We just want to make the leaves darker on this side of the tree. And sometimes in the middle it's pretty dark on trees because the light doesn't get in there very well. Down here it's going to be a little bit dark. We're also going to get some black, and we're going to put black on the side of the tree here. So there's a pretty good tree. There's some problems with doing a sun, and I'm going to show you what those problems are. A lot of kids will get a sun, and they'll color it yellow, but then they'll put a blue sky, and oh my goodness, we've got a green sun. That's because our yellow and our blue mix and become green. So there's a way to avoid this. I'm going to do my sun with an orange, and I'm just going to make a circle over here. I'm going to go around and around and around and around and around, and I'm going to kind of spread it out like this. And then I'm going to put some yellow in here, but just in a circle. I'm going to leave the middle white. I want a hot sun. Making the sun all yellow won't make it look hot. Making it look hot requires this to be white in the middle. Now, here's why I'm using orange. When I do my sky with the blue, if my sky comes in and gets into this orange, it's going to turn kind of an ugly brown, but it will not turn green. Now, if I go too far and get into that yellow, I'm going to get a green sun. But this orange area means I can color my sky pretty fast without wrecking my sun. Before we put a sky in, I want some mountains. And we're going to use a blue for this. I'll tell you why in a minute. We want just a couple of big ones like this, and it'll go behind the tree. and we might see something coming out on that side too. And we're going to make some snow by not drawing snow. Make a little green area. We're going to leave this alone. And we're going to shade these with a brown, but not over the white, because that will give us dirty snow. For the snow area, we're going to shade that with a blue. We're not cutting the whole thing in, just the side away from Mr. Sun, and that will give us a nice snow color here. We'll make some valleys and things. We'll use a blue and go into the snow. And then we'll go put a brown on top of that. And then we'll put some brown over the rest of the mountains here. Not a lot, because we want it to be darker here. But we'll put some brown just so that it's not a big, bright, happy green. We want this to be kind of realistic. Now, the sun's coming from here. This mountain should actually be shaded on this side. So I've made a mistake. I forgot where Mr. Sun was. So what am I going to do about this? It's a crayon. I can't erase it. No problem. I'll just make the rest of this blue and just make it darker blue like this. See, now I did it on purpose. I didn't make a mistake. This is my plan all along, right? If you can make a mistake look like you did it on purpose, it's no longer a mistake. Now, we'll work on this area down here a little bit later, but I want to make a best sky that you've ever done in your life. And we're going to do it with the back of the blue, and we're just going to go left and right. Some children will draw a sky like this. The sky really isn't that color blue. And some kids will color this way, and they'll color this way, and they'll color this way, and they'll color this way. And you end up with a lot of white spots that you have to come back and fix. And then there's some kids who try to go as fast as they can. They go like this. The problem is, look at this curve. Your hand wants to go in a curve. And so this is going to give you a curved sky and some spaces you got to fix in. We want to only go left and right. We want to go sideways. You don't want to go up and down at all when we're doing the sky. We're just going to go like this, and I'm moving from my shoulder. I'm keeping my wrist stiff and moving from my shoulder, and that helps me keep these lines straight. Here we go. And I don't have to push down very hard, and I can go kind of fast here, but I don't want to get too much into my sun. Now, we're going to draw a really good cloud. We're going to draw a cloud by not drawing a cloud. We're going to draw a cloud by coloring the area and leaving this part blank. And we'll put another one over here too. There, you can see there's a white cloud there. Now the white cloud, we're going to shade that a little bit because it will be darker away from the sun. We're going to use a little bit of a blue, and we're just going to shade on the bottom and on the side away from the sun. And this one over here, we're going to kind of shade it on the side away from the sun. Now if we want this to be a storm cloud, we can put a little bit of black just to darken it up a little bit, but we still want it to be white up here. There we go. There's a little storm cloud. For the sky, if you look at the sky, it's kind of lightly colored here by the ground, by the horizon, and it will get a more dark or brilliant blue as you go up. So we want to make this a little bit darker up here. We'll just go over it again. And make sure we don't color over a cloud. Making this sky darker makes our clouds stand out a little bit more. Now we could make a little lake like this, but I want a big lake. I want a lake that's so big that it doesn't even fit on the page. So I'm going to start right here. Make a big old line like this. We want a more realistic green, so we're going to go over that with some brown a little bit. Here's how to make good water. Water really isn't blue. Blue's a symbol for water. Water is whatever color the sky is at the moment. This lake is going to look like water because we're going to draw a reflection in it. So, do you see this mountain? We're going to draw another one like it upside down. This mountain, we're going to draw one upside down. That looks like it's reflective already. This one does not look like it's reflective because there's nothing really for it to reflect. You will see the sun reflected though. And you'll see the sky reflected. Let's go make a little tree. So there's a little stem. And then we're going to go spiky, 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 spiky. And then we're going to make one here. And then we'll make some little plants and make a reflection of them. And make some sticks and make a reflection of them. I like to make things on the edge here just to make a reflection of. Just whatever you do here upside down. Now as we get closer, we're going to see some little reeds and plants, and we'll see reflections of them also. Now when I do these, I want to go down and up, because when I do that, this line starts thick and gets thin. I just want to go up, 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 up. And then for the reflection, I want to go down, 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 down. Put some smaller ones over here. They're farther away, so they're not going to look as big. And then we might see this tree, depending on how you've drawn it. I think mine, we'd see a little bit of the trunk. But that's it. And now we're going to make some texture in here. We're going to come in and make some weeds. Now back here, our weeds are going to be a lot smaller. So we can just kind of go up and down a little bit. Just kind of do some little scribbles back here, make sure they're all different. And then we'll put some brown in there so they're not just all bright, bright green. And back here, our weeds are going to be so small, we're not even really going to see them. So we'll just kind of scribble around a little bit like this. And then back here, we're not going to see a whole lot of any texture at all, but we can always put some more trees in here. So here's a whole big old clump of trees. with some brown on them, and then go, and now I've got a bunch of trunks. I think that looks pretty good. If you like this, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next episode.